Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well as we dive right into a match preview. Once again, I feel like Leeds hasn't even finished. And here we are getting ready for Bournemouth versus Chelsea. Bournemouth up next. Tomorrow, watch along for that on Shootout. Make sure you guys are there. Now, as you can tell, I am kitted out to an extent. My England top's in the wash. I wore both today because of the World Cup draw. Now, if you want to go and have a look at my reaction to the World Cup draw, along with George, as we watched it on Shootout live and gave you our reaction to the draw as it was going on, you can go and have a butcher's over on Shootout. Much appreciated and enjoy. We will be doing a video talking about the groups and going into some detail and what we expect of them. So make sure you guys are subscribed to Shootout as well and go and check out our Premier League predictions for this weekend, which got uploaded today. And one of those games was Bournemouth-Chelsea. Now, I get to go into a little bit more detail here on Bournemouth versus Chelsea because this is the match preview for that game. And this is a chance to rectify the situation. Yeah, this is a chance to rectify the situation. The game against Leeds was poor. On many fronts, but in specifically two areas. Two areas, one being Maresca and his decisions and rotation. And the second thing was the Tosin mistake, which just basically put us in the grave. Now, if you'd watched the Maresca press conference, you would know what he said today and what he said about Tosin. Well, not about Tosin, but he referenced Tosin once when asked about whether the team needs some more experience. Now, I think overall, when you're going to environments like Leeds, right, where there's a history there, like Leeds-Chelsea, we know, as Chelsea fans, how deep and how far back that goes. But you best believe there's probably some Chelsea players in that squad that are not really well-versed, right? But when you have certain players and certain heads in that team that are aware and are able to get everyone ramped up, which I think, don't get me wrong, I think there's some, yeah, that weren't on the pitch on the day, but Reece James, for example, will definitely know. Surely Trevor Chalobah will definitely know. You know, there are players there that should know. But when you look at experience on the pitch, cool heads in tough situations is, I think, the most important thing, right? In terms of what could we have done with some experience there. But the point that Maresca brought up was completely valid as well. Where, okay, the oldest player on the pitch, well, not on the pitch, for us, not for Leeds, but the oldest player for us was Tosin. And look what he done. So it's not necessarily just about age. You know, age alone isn't experience. The quality that you have and for how long you've shown it is experience. You know, he referenced Caicedo as an experienced player. Very true, yes. Reece James, we now know, is an experienced player. He's still young, fairly young. 24, 25? He's about to hit his prime properly. But he's experienced because he's been around the block since 2019. You know, that is the most important thing. And that's something I want to differentiate on here as well. When I say that, yeah, we could do with some experience, it's about players that are aware of the situation. I'm not asking for 30-year-olds. But when we look at the other issue, Maresca was talking about that experience and then mentioned Tosin and said, you know, did he play good? No. So it's not about just experience in terms of age. But we talk about quality. We also need to talk about the quality that we can turn to, which in this game against Leeds that went by, didn't really show up. But this is where I talk about Maresca. The rotation needs to happen, but not to the extent that he went to. And what do I mean by that? When you go and look at my lineup in my last preview against Leeds, what did I put? What did I give you? I basically gave you the same team that I'm going to give you in a few minutes. The same team. But I hope he's learned and he's going to go to the same team that I've put on this preview, just like I did similarly for the Leeds game. There are players there that have to come in have to come in. But to change the setup and to change the whole infrastructure because of the amount of changes you're making, that doesn't make sense. You've changed the heart, basically. What we actually need on the pitch to get the job done, you've basically removed because you've overdone it. And that's important, I think, to clarify. That is important. There's no need to change the system or the formation. Maresca is a very, how can I say it? He's almost like a proactive, reactive manager, which is it's a contradiction. But I'll explain. He wants to take the initiative, so he's proactive. But he keeps reacting to who we're playing against. You can do that against the big teams, and I would advise that you do that against the big teams. And guess what? It works when you do it against the big teams. We do it against PSG, it worked. We based our system based on what they play, right? And to counter what they play, because we cut off their threats. We did it against Liverpool. We did it against, I like to say Tottenham, but Tottenham are not playing like a big team at all, are they? And we done it against Barcelona. And we also done it against Arsenal. The fact that we went to 10 men and played for that long with 10 men against Arsenal, and basically we nullified them well enough. Because we're basing the way that we play on how they play. But just like he admitted in this press conference, he set up with that line of defence because of Leeds' threats. That is where I say I disagree. In a game like Leeds, or in a game against anyone in the bottom half of the table, at minimum, they need to react to us. We don't need to react to them. We go to what works for us. We go back to basics. Lo and behold, when he spoke in the press conference about Chalobah playing at right back when Saraya, and I have to give another shout out to Saraya, huge respect to Saraya. Ray, we love what you're doing. Keep it up. I know you're watching, so keep it up. You're absolutely killing it. You're asking the questions that all the fans want to ask. I know you've heard me say this before, but I feel like it's only right to give you the credit and the plaudits, because go and watch that press conference if you haven't done so already. She's asking him exactly what we all want to know, and it happens every single time. So Saraya, big respect to you, and keep killing it. I know you're smashing it right now. So she asked him, and he answered about Chalobah right back. About Josh Achempong not coming in for Fofana when he's the most suited player to replace Fofana if we have to turn to someone else at centre-back. And what did he say? He said, I regret it. He said, I regret not playing Josh Achempong because, yeah, I should have. He said, but why did I go with with Chalobah at right-back? Was in order to put Tosin on with Badiashile because we went for height. Why? Because of their strikers. We shouldn't be worrying about Calvert-Lewin. I don't know about you. Like I said, I've watched Leeds quite substantially this season. He's not been all that. He showed up once against City to score, and they lost anyway. But that's it. We don't need to, if anything, they need to be worried about what we're bringing. And they need to set up their entire game plan based on what we're bringing to Elland Road. Because that's how it should be. But we proved it even in the second half when he did make those substitutions and he did bring on Gusto and he did bring on Pedro Neto and he did bring balance to that right-hand side. And what happened? All of a sudden we went to a normal back flat four and we started doing things normally. And what happened? We scored. We got ourselves back into the game. Everything was looking like it was going in our favour. We had loads of times to turn it around. It was on the way, and then Tosin decides to shoot us all in the head. So that is that. There's no need to rotate to that extent where you're changing 6 players. That doesn't need to happen. You need to just manage the ones that need managing. And Caicedo is suspended, so we have to account for that. Reece James couldn't play because he couldn't play a 90 minutes straight after, no problem. Fofana, we know, needs to be managed, and the most stupid person on earth will be able to tell you that's the case. That we understand. But to change to shift everything and to put Chalobah at right back, that doesn't make any sense. Against Leeds, there's no point. You're sabotaging your way of playing football because of a possible threat. Not even a threat, a possible threat in their front line, which should be nullified anyway with our centre-backs. If our centre-backs are on job with them, there's no need to worry. Oh, okay, so they can get a ball in the air. Oh, and what? Well, what about what we do on the ground? How about we don't allow them to bomb forward? How about we don't allow them to have the ball? How about we control the tempo? If we had our normal setup, I feel like we would have done that. And we did later on when we brought on Neto and Gusto. So these are things that Maresca needs to avoid, and I hope it's lessons learned. This game is a must. This game is a must based on the possibility that Aston Villa might just do something against Arsenal. Because if they do, and we're there to pick up the pieces, all of a sudden, we're back to a 6-point gap. And everything is super close again. It's still very, very early. And as much as people sometimes want to open and go, oh, we're 9th, look, we're a disgrace. And all of a sudden, 2 games later, some people talking about being in the title race, and then we don't hear anything. And then the moment we do slip up, oh, but look, it's a disgrace. Listen. In 2, 3, 4 games from now, everything can shift again. Have you seen the Premier League table? Actually, you know what? I want to verify this properly. I swear there's like 4 points between like 8 positions or something like 9 positions. So when you go from Chelsea in 4th right now, 24 points, all the way down to Bournemouth in 14th, is 5 points, and we are on match day 15. This is going to be the 15th match day, 15th game week. We are 5 points away from 14th. Arsenal on 33, City on 28, Villa on 27, we're on 24. As much as we're 5 points away from 14th, we're 4 points away from 2nd. It can all change just like this, for good or for worse. So everyone needs to stop coming to conclusions. And this is why I say, look, as long as we get our heads screwed on and we're not sabotaging ourselves, we should be picking up points in these games and we should be up there in the conversation. Simple as that. It just needs less tinkering, it needs some better managing, and it needs the players to be on it. That's it. So let's go to the lineups. Injury news at the moment is the same. No changes. The players that weren't available in that game are not available. Caicedo being the red card suspension. Lavia being injured. Apparently he's out for a long time. I'm not surprised. But let's get to the starting 11 and see exactly what we have to work with. Let's get into it. So, Sanchez in goal. I'm basically going with the same thing, although I do have one area that I've not changed on here, but I thought I'd leave it till now, so then we can discuss this together. Which is, and I'm about to change him now, just so then you guys can see what I mean. Pay attention to right back. So we can go to Reece. He didn't play the last game. He should be fit for this. And you know what? It'd be a very good game for Reece James. This is the dynamic where Reece James, Bournemouth away. Yeah, I feel like it's a Reece James fixture. It's very intense. There's physicality there. Reece should be able to come on and handle this. Reece for me at right back, Cucurella left back. But at the same time, Gusto here at right back. As long as we have a right back, I'm cool. Because we also need to bear in mind, and this is where we do need to worry about players being managed. We've got Bournemouth, but we've got the weekend. Sorry. We've got today. My head's gone based on like what time of the week it is and whatnot here, because we've had a big holiday here. It's been National Day. Things have been closed. It's been like as the week started. I'm like, hang on, what day is it? So we've got this. Straight after this, we're away at Atalanta in the Champions League. So we have to bear that in mind because Reece is playing that. I don't care. Reece is playing Atalanta. So based on what he can handle, what we know he can handle, if Reece can handle tomorrow as well, he plays. Now, left back, Cucurella, for sure. Fofana should be able to come back in, I'm guessing, right? And Chalobah alongside him. It's been our best centre-back pairing. Now listen, if Fofana cannot make this one because he's going to make Atalanta, we don't know, we'll see, then Acheampong needs to play tomorrow. So I would go with Josh Acheampong at centre-back, with Chalobah. That's me. And I expect Maresca to do the same thing if he has learned from Leeds and he's going to do exactly what he said in that press conference, because Josh Achiampong does deserve more opportunity. In a game where Fofana cannot play, Josh Achiampong should be the guy to turn to, not Tosin. And none of us was expecting that, let's be honest. We all saw Tosin in the lineup and thought, oh my God. So Maresca said he regretted it. Maresca said he should have. Cool, all right. You owned up to it, fair play. We expect you to turn to him if needed and if necessary. Midfield has to be Enzo and Santos. Has to be. Caicedo's still out. Lavia isn't anywhere to be seen. Asugo isn't fit yet. We have to go. Lavia's injured. So it's got to be Santos and Enzo Fernandez in midfield. Enzo Fernandez, I'm looking forward to playing at the World Cup. Going to be a good one. Bring on the Argentina. Anyway, Palmer in the 10. Palmer starts. Palmer's back. He can play. We need a threat up front. Palmer starts. End of story. He's there. So for me, he's in the 10. I will go with Garnacho at left wing. I think he needed to start the last one, but he didn't. Gittins did. Anyway, Garnacho came on. Garnacho is playing like our best left winger at the moment. Garnacho plays, he starts. End of story. And I expect him to be fit and ready to play against Atalanta as well. So Garnacho on the left. On the right, Pedro Neto. Now, I wouldn't start Esteban for this one. And I did say that before Leeds. I said I'd rather him play Leeds, and then he doesn't play Bournemouth. Or he doesn't start. It's about starting. He can come on. But Neto, for me, is crucial here. Bournemouth are going to be a team that are going to do a lot of running. A lot of running. And they like to work the ball. So we need someone that's going to be as physical and as powerful on the break. And that's Neto, not Esteban. Because even defensively, we're going to need someone to put in the shift here. Because Bournemouth like to play. You know, I thought Leeds would be a little bit more reserved. Leeds were aggressive on their press. On the ball, they were fairly patient. Bournemouth like to play very direct. We need Neto. So I would go Neto. And up front, I'd go João Pedro. Now, I'll be honest. If we get to a point where we've got to bring someone on, I will go to Margue. For now, I'd go to Margue, personally. But for me to start with Palmer on the pitch as well, stick João Pedro up front and let them two cook together, because they do have some chemistry together. I feel like they can work together well. Let them play together. Let's see what we can do. And if we have to call upon someone, we've got Margue there ready to go. So that's me. But let me know what you think down below. This is my starting 11. As I go to the predictions, and my prediction for this... You know, I don't like the fact that we're playing Bournemouth now, I'll be honest. Because they're in free fall. They're not playing well. They've lost, I think, 4 on the bounce. They're losing for fun now. They've plummeted. They had a great start to the season. Now all of a sudden they're in 14th. Do you see how quickly things can change? So for good or for bad, I think it's important. Do not come to any conclusion yet. The season's still a very long one. But this December period is going to be defining for everybody. So let's see. But because they're in free fall, I hope... We were so charitable against Leeds that we're going to be charitable again, aren't we? We are. Charity FC are going to show up again tomorrow, aren't they? They better not. I expect everyone's heads to be screwed on. I think that was a big wake-up call against Leeds. I think even for the manager, even for Maresca, big wake-up call. So I think I'm expecting everyone to learn their lesson. I'm expecting everyone to put their all in. I'm expecting everyone to have their heads screwed on and to not have stupid antics or any stupid mistakes or any bad decisions. So I think because we take it ultra seriously tomorrow, I'm going to go with a Chelsea win. And I'm going to go with Bournemouth. Bournemouth 1, Chelsea 2. I got to be honest, I forgot what I said on shootout. Did I say 3-1? Or did I say 2-1? Or did I say 2-0? It was one of them. But on here right now, I'm going 2-1 Chelsea. So, let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. Subscribe, notification bell on. The review will be straight after the game tomorrow. We've got a mega stream tomorrow on Shootout. We are covering, doing the watch along for Aston Villa Arsenal, and then we will go straight into Bournemouth versus Chelsea. It'll be one continuous stream. We won't stop. So join us early for the Aston Villa Arsenal game, and that will take us straight into the Chelsea game. It's going to be a big stream tomorrow. So make sure you're on Shootout. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch all of you here as well after the game for the review. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. See you tomorrow. Take care, and peace.